I'm Ankita Robin and welcome to SG Global News. From Marco Rubio, Trump's Secretary of State, proclaiming Jesus Christ as the singular purpose and most important priority of life in his first official address after taking office, to the dismantling of a pro-abortion website from the Biden era, we have many stories to cover. As Trump's cabinet is slowly taking shape, we have the story of a powerful witness from the oath-taking ceremony of the first high official of the cabinet. Marco Rubio, the former senator from Florida, was sworn in as Secretary of State, now leading what is arguably the greatest diplomatic corps in history. In his first official address, Rubio delivered a moving and powerful speech expressing heartfelt gratitude to God. Trump's pick for the Secretary of State thanked God in his first official address after taking office on Tuesday.
And I want to end by thanking Almighty God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That is truly the singular purpose of our lives. It's the most important priority. It's the only thing that will matter when we take our last breath on this earth. But this is an extraordinary opportunity that would not have been possible without God's blessings. I'm honored and I'm privileged.
Marco Rubio officially took office as Secretary of State on Tuesday, becoming the first high-level cabinet official in the new Trump administration to assume their role. Vice President J.D. Vance administered the oath of office to Rubio at the Eisenhower Executive Office building in Washington, as Rubio's wife Janet stood by holding the Bible. Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants, often reflects on his modest upbringing. His father worked as a banquet bartender, while his mother juggled roles as a factory worker, cashier, and hotel maid, all while caring for their family. Though baptized into the Roman Catholic Church, he still had a long circuitous path to tread before he was able to find his home in Rome. In 2016, speaking to more than 50 evangelical pastors, Rubio declared unequivocally, quote, "I am fully, theologically, and doctrinally aligned with the Roman Catholic Church," end quote. His Catholic faith has deeply influenced his life and political career. Rubio served in the US Senate for 14 years before taking the helm of the Department of State. A vocal critic of China and a staunch supporter of Israel, Rubio secured overwhelming bipartisan support during his confirmation hearings, receiving 99 votes in favor and none against. Vice President Vance, while introducing him, remarked, quote, "He is a bipartisan solution seeker, a man who can get things done while remaining a conservative of great principle and great vision," end quote. After being sworn in, Rubio addressed the press, outlining his commitment to advancing President Trump's agenda. He emphasized that the State Department would operate within Trump's three guiding principles, ensuring policies make the nation stronger, safer, and more prosperous.
President Trump made it very clear, everything we do, and this is true in government, but especially at the Department of State, everything we do must be justified by the answer to one of three questions. Does it make us stronger? Does it make us safer? And does it make us more prosperous? If it doesn't do one of those three things, we will not do it.
Rubio also highlighted the department's shared commitment to promoting peace.
The United States, I think, is now, as President Trump pointed out last night, and I believe deeply, we are headed into a new era that I think will make the world a safer place. We have a president who yesterday, President Trump made clear in his inaugural speech that one of the primary goals of American foreign policies is the promotion of peace. Of course, peace through strength, peace and always without abandoning our values. But I think it's extraordinary that it's something that needs to be said and hasn't been said enough in recent memory.
President Donald Trump is back in action, signing 80 executive orders on the first day of his second term, breaking the record for the most orders signed in a single day by any sitting president. From pausing the TikTok ban to reducing protections for transgender individuals, it seems the president is determined to fulfill all the promises made during the campaign period. After returning to the White House for a second term, President Donald Trump was all business as he signed a barrage of executive orders ranging from pausing the TikTok ban to other high-profile actions on his first day in office. Shortly after delivering a fiery inauguration speech, Trump returned to the Oval Office and signed his first executive order of the term, mandating all federal workers to return to the office full-time. The newly inaugurated president signed as many as 80 executive orders, breaking the record for the most orders signed in a single day by any sitting president. Among the most notable actions were pulling the United States out of the Paris Agreement and the World Health Organization, as well as repealing the Biden-era ban on fracking in Arctic lands. Acting on his promise to restore sanity, as stated in his inaugural speech, President Trump signed an order rolling back protections for individuals of self-identified gender identities. Through this executive order, the Trump administration aims to safeguard women's rights by rescinding legislation or policies that recognize individuals born with male reproductive organs as women. President Trump also declared a national emergency at the Mexico border, ordering troops to be stationed at immigration checkpoints along the border in an effort to crack down on illegal immigration, a key campaign pledge. The newly inaugurated president and vice president, along with their families, attended the inaugural prayer service at the Washington National Cathedral, where Episcopal Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd delivered a pointed speech urging compassion for LGBTQ+ communities and undocumented immigrants. President Trump took to Truth Social to criticize the bishop's remarks. He accused her of politicizing the church and called the service boring and uninspiring in the post. On Tuesday, the newly inaugurated President and Vice President of the United States and their families went to the Washington National Cathedral for the inaugural prayer service, where the Episcopalian Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd went on a sanctimonious tirade asking the President to have mercy on LGBTQ+ communities and illegal immigrants. The first and second families of the United States showed remarkable grace as they sat through the diatribe of the first female bishop to lead the Episcopal Diocese of Washington.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
However, President Trump responded strongly to the inopportune speech of Bishop Budd in a post on Truth Social. He accused her of bringing her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. He reminded her of the large number of crimes being perpetrated by illegal immigrants that come to the United States. In his characteristic style, Trump called the service boring and uninspiring and demanded a public apology from the bishop. He has previously shifted his religious identification, moving from Presbyterian to identifying as a non-denominational Christian as of 2020. His wife Melania Trump is a practicing Catholic, and Vice President J.D. Vance converted to Catholicism in 2019. Bishop Budd has been a vocal critic of Trump in the past and is known for her advocacy on social issues including racial equity, gun violence prevention, immigration reform, LGBTQ+ inclusion, and environmental stewardship. Virginia's Catholic bishops have voiced strong opposition to two newly passed resolutions that mark the first steps towards amending the state's constitution to include a right to abortion and repeal the one-man, one-woman marriage provision. Bishops Michael F. Burbidge and Barry C. Nestout described the measures as extreme, radical, and tragically misguided, warning they would expand permissive abortion laws and undermine traditional marriage values. Meanwhile, the bishops commended the passage of a resolution restoring voting rights to individuals who have completed their sentences, emphasizing the critical role of Catholic advocacy in these legislative debates. Bishop Michael F. Burbidge of the Diocese of Arlington and Bishop Barry C. Nestout of the Diocese of Richmond, Virginia have expressed their alarm and dismay as the House and Senate passed two resolutions, right to abortion and repealing the one-man, one-woman marriage provision. These resolutions are the first step in the two-year process to amend Virginia's constitution. The bishop said that the resolution passed were extreme, radical, deadly, and tragically misguided. The bishops had stated last November that adding a right to abortion in Virginia's constitution would enshrine a fundamental tragedy, not a fundamental right. They lamented the fact that this would expand the Commonwealth's already very permissive abortion laws and allow virtually unlimited abortion at any stage of pregnancy. Following the bishop's call on November 13, 2024, thousands of Catholics across Virginia sent messages to their legislators asking them to vote against the abortion expansion and marriage redefinition measures and in favor of restoring voting rights. The resolution guaranteeing the restoration of voting rights to all who have completed their sentences has been passed. The bishops asserted that the voices of Catholics were vital and would be needed at every stage in the long-term fight for the lives of those who have no voice. In a public meeting with delegates consisting of Catholic, Orthodox, and Lutheran clergy from Finland, Pope Francis emphasized that the vocation of Christ's love brings Christians from all around the world together. Pope Francis also observed the feast of Saint Henry, the patron saint of Finland, with the Finnish delegation and described the saint as an icon of hope.
In a public meeting with Finnish representatives from various denominations, Pope Francis underscored the importance of ecumenical vocation and how it extends to the communion of Christians baptized in the name of Christ. The January 20 meeting, which took place in the Vatican Apostolic Palace, was attended by a delegation of Finnish clergy belonging to the Orthodox, Catholic, and Lutheran communities who were visiting Rome on the occasion of the feast of Saint Henry. During the audience, the Holy Father emphasized how Christians around the world bear witness to the eternal love of Christ and how this love unites believers globally. As the Vatican celebrates the week of prayer for Christian unity, the Pope remembered St. Henry, the patron of Finland, as an icon of hope for Finnish Christians, whose faith finds its sure and firm foundation in God. Continuing the commemoration, Pope Francis highlighted that the patron saint is a symbol of the unity given by God, as his feast day continues to bring together Christians from different churches in the common praise of the Lord. He also remarked that the year 2025 is significant not only for Catholics, as the Vatican celebrates it as the Jubilee year, but also for Christians adhering to the Nicene Creed, as churches worldwide will commemorate the 1700th anniversary of the world's first ecumenical council, the Council of Nicaea.
As one of its first order of business, the Trump administration struck down a pro-abortion website created in response to the 2022 overturning of Roe v. Wade by the United States Supreme Court. The site, launched by the United States Department of Health, provided information on abortion services, birth control, insurance coverage, and the abortion pill. On Monday, January 20th, President Donald Trump's administration disabled a pro-abortion website Biden created to promote abortions. The website, reproductiverights.gov, was launched by the Biden administration in response to the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe. The website offered information on abortion services, birth control, insurance coverage, and the abortion pill. The Biden administration first launched the site as part of a pro-abortion public awareness campaign in 2022. The site, run by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, primarily redirected users to a project powered in part by Planned Parenthood and the National Abortion Federation. Girls under 15 were directed to another site that focused on obtaining abortions without their parents' consent. It also stated that reproductive health care, including access to birth control and legal abortion care, was essential to health and well-being. In another landmark executive order signed by President Trump, the U.S. will begin the withdrawal process from the World Health Organization. The United States was its biggest financial backer, contributing 18% of funding. The World Health Organization claims that the lack of abortion care is a critical public health and human rights issue. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.